Hello again, friends. So, as we enjoy our winter festival of choice, remember that for everything light in this world, there is usually a dark and scary counterpart. This is also true for the glorious Father Christmas. So beware, naughty children, as I tell you about the other traditions followed on this, the darkest of months. First, we have Krampus. Krampus is the companion of Father Christmas. They are often seen together in parades and pictures. There are even images of Krampus and Father Christmas in the sleigh together. Well, sort of. It's possible that Krampus even predates Santa, as there are mentions of him as far back as 600 AD, although the first time he is seen written down was in the 16th century. Krampus is the yin to Santa's yang. He looks for the children on the naughty list. He puts them into the wicker basket on his back and he takes them away. Forever, I'm told. Whether he eats them or brings them to hell is a mystery. I'd say that's more of a deterrent than coal. In Germany, they have Belsnickel. This is an old man in ragged furs, and sometimes a mask, who carries a switch. He is believed to be one of Father Christmas's servants, but unlike Krampus, he doesn't hang with the old man. He goes hunting on his own. If you are naughty, or just make him unhappy, he will beat you with his switch. But if you're nice, then he will give you cakes, candies, and nuts. Next is Jólakotturinn, or the Yule Cat. The Yule Cat is Icelandic and first appeared in a collection of stories by Jón Arnason in 1862. He is a large and terrifying cat that stalks the land on Christmas Eve, looking into the windows of all the houses. If you had been good and hard-working, you would receive a present of new clothes. So long as that was waiting for you under the tree, then you were safe. However, if there were no new clothes waiting for you, then you were to be his dinner. Now I bet you are glad you got those socks from your grandmother. But who keeps the Yule Cat at bay most of the year? That would be the Yule Lads. These Icelandic menaces, which look a lot like garden gnomes, are 13 little pranksters who each take a day to cause chaos during the winter month. Their names tell you all you need to know about them. I will give you the translated version because if I try to pronounce them in Icelandic, well, let's just say I would not end well, and the last thing I want to do is make these boys angry. There is Sheepcoat Clod, Gollygawk, Stubby, Spoon Licker, Pot Scraper, Bowl Licker, Door Slammer, Skeer Gobbler, Sausage Swiper, Window Peeper, Doorway Sniffer, Meat Hook, and Candle Stealer. In more modern times, they seem to have calmed down a lot and tend to be nicer to good children, at least. But back in their youth, they didn't care if you'd been naughty or nice. They just wanted to have fun at your expense. But I pretend to hear you asking, who keeps the Yule Lads at bay if they keep the Yule Cat at bay? Well, that would be their parents, Grilla and Lepaloi. Grilla, their mother, is an ogre. She is terrifying to look at and has a taste for naughty children. And not just boys either. If you are bad, you can expect to be put in her big pot and cooked for dinner. Lepaloi has a lot going on in his lore, but mostly he's just there to back up Grilla in her child-stealing ways and shove them in a great big bag. They are, though, apparently, good parents, as they have 21 children. Or maybe they're just really good at making them. At any rate, we're going to round out this group with a name we already know. La Befana is her Italian name. Frau Puchta is what she goes by in Germany and Austria. But we know her as Baba Yaga. Yes, that terrifying Slavic witch has a good side. During the 12 days of Christmas, she can be seen striding about. If you have pleased her, she will appear to you as a sweet, beautiful alpine goddess. But for the rest of us, watch out. She is brutal and cruel. On a good day, if you're lucky, she'll only rip out your internal organs and replace them with junk. On a bad day, well, she hasn't terrified children for centuries for nothing. The idea of a winter witch is not a new one. She existed long before C.S. Lewis put her in Narnia. That brings us to this week's story. This one comes from Bulgaria and has many names, but the one we will be going with is The Little Girl and the Winter Witch. One year, the wicked Winter Witch decided to stop spring from coming on time and make winter the only season on earth. She hid the sun behind dark clouds and covered the earth with heavy snow. So one morning, the people from a small mountain village woke up and found their houses buried under the snow up to the roofs. They started digging tunnels from their own to the neighboring houses and gathering in small groups to decide what they could do. Huh. That's both scary and really cool. Imagine all the little tunnels. You'd be living like rabbits and... Sorry. They finally decided that the best thing to do was to send someone to the highest peak where the good wizard, Father Frost, lived in his palace of ice and ask him for help. But no one was willing to go on such a dangerous trip. Not it! I am ready to go, an old man said, but I'm afraid I'm too old and slow to reach the peak. If I was only 20 years younger. Don't worry, grandfather, I will go, his little granddaughter said. She was an orphan, living in his home since her parents died. No, not you! The neighbors pitied her. You are too young and tender for such a hard job. You don't even have a warm coat. No hat and scarf, not even woolen mittens. I'm not afraid, the little girl said. My feet are strong and I'm as fast as a mountain goat. But you'll freeze up there with no shelter to hide from the frost. I will not, the girl said firmly. I have a warm little heart full of love for everyone. It will save me from the frost. Plus, I'm the protagonist. I have main character armor. I'll be fine. Go, my child, the old man said. I know your good heart, and I trust it. The children, who were all her friends, gave her their warmest clothes. Here, take my coat, one of them said. My mittens are so warm, put them on, said another. Take my hat, my scarf, my woolen socks, and my boots.
And my axe.
Soon the little girl was ready to go. She waved back at her friends and started for the snowy mountain peak at a quick pace. She went further and higher, never thinking about rest. Soon she was able to see the glittering ice on top of the highest peak. All of a sudden, the whirlwinds woke up from their sleep and, noticing the little figure in the snow, became furious. Who dares to trespass on our property? Let's show her who we are, they screamed. Let's blow at her so hard until she forgets where she's heading for. That's a real danger in the snow like that. There were many ways that people found of marking the path so that they didn't get lost, although that did still happen. In the Alps, they often made large wooden crosses which people could see above the snow. Getting lost in a snowstorm never ends well. And they started whirling fiercely around the girl, but she only huddled into her warm coat and bravely went on. The whirlwinds got very tired. One after another, they fell to the ground, gasping for breath. What a strong girl, one of them said. We're exhausted, and she's not even tired. No human being has ever outmastered us, let alone such a fragile little girl. If we cannot manage ourselves, let's call our sisters, the blizzards, for help. So they called for the blizzards. Hearing them, the blizzards became very angry. She will pay for that, they roared, and threw themselves after her. It was a long and uneven struggle. But the girl overcame the blizzards too, thanks to her strong, warm heart. That never let her feel fear or weariness. Somehow I think the narrator helped her out too. The blizzards fell on the ground, breathing heavily. That's a shame, one of them hissed. "We are not able to stop her. Let's call our mother for help." "Mother, mother!" they all screamed. "Come to help!" Their mother was the frosty winter witch. She came at once and said, "I saw everything. Now listen to me. When you cannot defeat someone by force, turn things the other way round. Let's be good to her." "What do you mean? To kiss her?" a whirlwind asked ironically. "Nothing of the sort," the frosty winter witch said. "Let's just try to be polite and kind, so she will never suspect us of any evil thoughts." Ah, the joy of honeyed words. Remember, my friends, if someone always has the perfect thing to say in every situation, they probably practiced it ahead of time. So the wind stopped and the blizzards went away. The frosty winter witch appeared before the girl in the likeness of a beautiful young woman in a sparkling white gown with long white hair and a crown of icy diamonds. "Am I dreaming? Or is this some good miracle?" the girl thought. "This beautiful lady has the face of my dear mother, and I can hear her sweet voice singing my lullaby. Oh, how I want to hear some more. I'll sit here for a while," she said to herself. "I'm so near to the palace. No more than an hour walking left. I'll be on time." The little girl sat down and closed her eyes. That's a great way to freeze to death. The frosty winter witch grinned in delight. "Sleep, little girl, and may you sleep forever." Then she left the sleeping girl on the snowy hill and flew away to tell her children how she managed to deceive the girl. The little girl was sleeping, smiling happily, but the color of her face was changing as time passed. Her pink cheeks became at first red, then blue, then waxy yellow. She was slowly freezing to death, until all of a sudden something stirred the snow. A squeaking sound was heard, and a tiny head showed up from a hole in the snow. It was a little white mouse, her shiny black eyes fixed on the sitting figure. "Someone's in trouble," squeaked the mouse. "Ah! A talking mouse!" And right after that, a number of little holes opened in the snow, and a number of mice peeped out of the holes. They ran to the girl and started massaging her feet and hands. Ha! Now I have an image of tiny little mice massage therapists. But mice were so little and their labors so inefficient that they decided to call their friends the rabbits for help. This time bigger holes opened in the snow, and a number of white rabbits peeped out and ran to the rescue. From the snow-covered pine trees a number of squirrels jumped down, and soon the girl was covered with white and brown fur all over. Ah! Oh, sorry, that just seemed bad. Back to the story. The little animals warmed her up with their own furry bodies. They were extremely happy to see her cheeks becoming pink again. Soon the girl opened her eyes. That must have been a sight to wake up to. Thousands of little shiny black eyes looking at you, while mice, rabbits, and squirrels scurry all over your little body with their pointed little claws. She thanked her new friends for saving her life and told them why she was here and where she was going. "We are coming with you," the animals cheered. "We also suffer very much from this never-ending winter." Flocking around the girls, the animals accompanied her to the ice palace. There they all knocked at the gate, but no one answered. What might have happened to Father Frost, the animals wondered. "Let's try to open the door. It's not locked." They opened the heavy gate, and the girl stepped in, followed by her friends. A glittering, icy corridor led them to a big crystal hall, and there, on a gorgeous throne of carved ice, Father Christmas was fast asleep, sitting on his icy throne, dressed in silver-embroidered clothes. The two squirrels jumped in his lap and tickled his face with their furry tails. A mighty sneezing sound made them all freeze with fear. But Father Christmas opened his blue eyes and smiled. "What are you doing here, little friends?" The girl told him everything. "You mean I have slept here while the wicked winter witch was trying to stop spring from coming throughout the whole winter?" Father Christmas asked, astonished. "I guess she decided to outsmart me and stay on Earth forever, but I will not let her. Thank you, little ones, for waking me up. Now I'll restore the natural order and give everyone what he deserves." That sounds kind of ominous. Then he blew on his silver whistle, and in an instant all of his subjects appeared in the big crystal hall. He ordered them to go and find the frosty winter witch and bring her to the palace so he could lock her down in the cellar until next year. I suddenly have a lot more sympathy for the witch. Who wants to spend the year in a cellar? She also told them to clear the skies from clouds so that the sun can melt the snow. "And where were all these people when the winter witch was taking over, I ask you?" When the big gates opened again, the sun outside was shining and the soft snow had started to melt. The way back was much easier. The new friends parted, promising to help any time when needed. Everyone in the village cheered, meeting the brave little girl. They were very happy to pick the first snowdrops and give them to her. Spring was also very happy to hear the songs and see the dances the children had prepared, especially for her. I wonder if this is the origin story for that superhero squirrel girl. This is a very sweet story. This is the version I found, but I know there are others. Some give away the plot twist right at the beginning and say how the witch put an enchanted sleep onto Father Frost. But I thought it was better to reveal that at the end. I hope you have enjoyed this little tale and a trip down the darker side of the winter festivals. Remember, when the winter festival started so very long ago, it was in an attempt to get the sun to come back from wherever it had gone to. How times change. Thank you for being here, my friends. Know that each and every one of you is very important to me. I am so very grateful that you spend this time with me. I read your comments with such joy in my heart. Now comes the part where I ask you to like, share, and subscribe, so the evil algorithm knows that we are an engaged audience and doesn't bury us so far down the list of For You suggestions that we are never, ever found again. There's a notification bell. Maybe that will help you find my stories that are under 10 minutes. It appears YouTube hates videos under 10 minutes. Maybe because it's harder to slip in an ad when I'm not looking. I would like to thank Pixabay.com for their wonderful sounds and images. They really are such a good website. Please show them some love. If you would like to support me on Patreon, Instagram, or Facebook, there are links below. I might even have an update on some of them someday. Maybe. Perhaps. Probably not. Anyway, finally, a special thank you to my Patreon friends.